How often do we take for granted the simple things in life? Running water, electricity, or even the bread you eat. The average American consumes on average 53 pounds of bread per year. Imagine living your entire life with bread as the staple of your diet, and then one day, bread has to be eliminated from your diet. This is the feeling of thousands who are diagnosed with celiac disease every year. Today, I would like to talk about what celiac disease is, how it affects your body, and life after the diagnosis. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder caused by intolerance to gluten. Gluten is the general name of the proteins found in wheat, rye, and barley, and other grains derived from them. Doctors don't know for sure what triggers the immune system to react to gluten in people who have celiac disease, though it has been linked to other health conditions, including Down syndrome, Williams syndrome, thyroid disorder. Celiac disease tends to run in families, so if there is a family history of celiac disease, your family may have a higher risk of developing it. If one member of a family is diagnosed with celiac disease, his or her siblings, parents, and grandparents should be tested too, as they may have the disease but be symptom-free. Celiac disease that goes undiagnosed in adults for a long time can actually lead to serious health problems. So how it affects your body. In people with celiac disease, the gluten damages the villi, which is the finger-like projections in the small intestine responsible for absorbing the nutrients from your food. When the villi are damaged, the body can't absorb the nutrients the body needs to grow. So if that happens, a person can obviously become malnourished. Celiac disease can lead to a wide variety of symptoms in different people. For instance, infants may fail to gain weight and height is expected. In older kids and adults, the condition can cause diarrhea, abdominal pain and bloating, weight loss, fatigue, or even painful skin rashes. Some people who have celiac disease experience no symptoms at all. Symptoms of celiac disease can occur at any time in a person's life. Some people experience symptoms the first time they are exposed to gluten, while others develop symptoms later in life after consuming gluten products without a problem for years. Headaches and stomach cramps are often the most common symptoms, and skin rashes may occur, especially around the elbow, the buttocks, and knees. Over time, you might develop anemia and mouth sores. First sign that a child might have celiac disease can occur shortly after the introduction to solid foods, such as cereals. An infant who started consuming foods that contain gluten might have diarrhea and stomach pains and stop gaining weight at a healthy pace. So the diagnosis and life after. As I said, there is currently no cure, although researchers are working on developing enzyme pills to help with the digestion of the toxic part of gluten that causes the intestinal damage. But if you are diagnosed with celiac disease, there are ways to minimize symptoms and any damage to the intestines. Diagnosing celiac disease usually begins with a simple blood test that measures the level of antibodies to gluten and other proteins in the lining of the intestine. If high levels of these antibodies are found, the doctor will likely order a biopsy of the small intestine and send it to a laboratory for testing. Doctors take this tissue sample by inserting a long, thin tube called an endoscope through the mouth and stomach into the small intestine. People are usually moderately sedated or put to sleep under general anesthesia during the procedure. If celiac disease is diagnosed, the doctor will give you guidance on which foods you can eat and then which foods to avoid. And because the changes will greatly affect your everyday life and your diet, the doctor may suggest that you meet with a nutritionist for additional advice. And typically, in general, you should avoid the following foods. I'll list a couple, unless they're labeled as gluten-free or made with corn, rice, soy, or other gluten-free grains. But things like breads, cakes and pies, candies, cereals, cookies and crackers, pastas, processed lunch meat, salads, dressings, sauces, and then even soups. So a lot of good foods, chances are you have someone in your life who currently has or will develop celiac disease. Dealing with the disease may be difficult, but if you understand what celiac disease is and how it affects your body, you can be better equipped to face this challenge head on.